Okay, now you have went and ordered your trees, hopefully from a reputable nursery. This one is from the keeper's nursery. As they arrive, they're wrapped and packed with the straw around them to keep it moist and warm and free from frost, and wrapped also in another layer of the plastic. So this must be around 7 or 8 trees that I've ordered, and by now is winter, January or something around. Today is the January of 9th of January 2016, so practically it's the right time to plant a tree from now up to the March or April, depending on the temperatures. You can plant your trees. You receive it in such a condition, protected from the frost and everything, and you then go to plant it. The next tree which I planted, the third one, is a quince. Quince Miches prolific. This is from the Yugoslavia, Serbia, semi-dwarfing on the quince A rootstock, and again from the keeper's nursery. It's a prolific, small quince. It gives a small quince and very prolific, easy to come to crop. This is the quince variety Esfahan. She bought in 2014 and planted in February 2014 from the keeper's nursery. About this was tall, quite tall, up to here. Then in the summer it grew again, and it gave a few blossoms but no fruit, and it's quite tall, about 2 meters now, probably 2.5 meters. It grows bigger even, probably. I think it is in the quince C or quince A rootstock. It's quite tall, and because I have to use the bird netting to protect the orchard from the birds, I have a height limit. I don't want this goes really too high. Also, it means that it will not be available if there is any fruit or anything. So I have to really prune it now. That's the time. It's now March. The plants are semi-dormant now, so they're gradually awakening up, so it's the right time for me. The first thing is that I will prune from here, here, so I will have a few good branches this side, hopefully. I will prune some of this also, just going too high, and a few branches here. As you see, I've now pruned the top of the quince Esfahan. Here 1, 2, 3, 4 branches are here. A little one here. I keep these ones, the little ones. Let them to see what will happen. Probably these are fruit buds. I'm not sure. It looks quince is kind of between apple and pears, so we will see how the fruit bud looks. I pruned this one also. I pruned the extension of it here. I have to empty around it. It was all these things because here the council was building the fence in the October, November, and we have to remove everything. So now it is cluttered here. I will remove them hopefully this weekend or the next one. And this one also is pruned, so, and this other branch also is pruned, so you will see how it will do. They have some good branches. Those lower ones probably eventually will go, but if there is anything intermediate here around, I will let it grow, and we will see how it is doing. Beautiful day in Allotment. Sun is shining. Okay, this is the quince variety Esfahan. I think this is Esfahan. or shams. Anyway, I bought it from Keeper's Nursery. That's from Southwest Asia, where they really grow the best quince in the world because they're really aromatic and tasty, and they're not rock solid hard like the European ones. They're edible quite. You can eat them raw, you can make jam, you can use them in anything that you use apple, cooking apple. They're delightfully sweet and aromatic. And this is the second year it's giving me some flowers, blossoms, but the blossoms this time are more numerous, probably about, you can say, probably about 20. You can see those ones under there. Yeah, we will see. Even if one or two of these become a quince, I will be delighted. We will see how they will do. Okay, this is my quince variety Esfahan, and look at it. This is in flower. The flowers are open. They're almost as beautiful as any rose. Different stages of them. There's loads of this. I'm taking photos of them. So beautiful. Flower. I hope I will get a few fruits from this year. Position is not bad actually. Most of the day it takes about probably 10 to 12 hours of sunshine if it is sunny. So it should be something similar to where this tree actually grows naturally in Southwest Asia, in Iran. So we will see how it is doing. At the moment I'm just delighted. Let me smell one of these flowers just to see. The smell of them is not anything close to smell of an apple. It's almost kind of plasticky, or I don't know how to describe it. Like a dark and damp place. Yeah, it's not pleasant. The smell of it is not pleasant. The fragrance of the flower is not pleasant, but the beauty is there. It should not be probably all the time pleasant for us. It's for the pollination, attracting the pollinating insects. So that's the trick they do. Look at this beauty. Taking just photos. Beautiful. The roses are not yet flowering, so that's a beautiful flower that we can enjoy. So the quince variety Esfahan from the Keeper's Nursery in Kent. I'm happy that I bought this tree, and I pruned it actually. It was very high, a very lanky branch bending over my bird net because I could not really make it any taller. Now at least we will have some growth here, some good news, something to look at, and looking forward to see if we can have some real fruits out of here. Quince Esfahan. Okay, this is my quince variety Esfahan, and look at it. This is in flower. The flowers are open. They're almost as beautiful as any rose. Different stages of them. There's loads of this. I'm taking photos of them. So beautiful. flower. I hope I will get a few fruits from this year. Position is not bad actually. Most of the day it takes about probably 10 to 12 hours of sunshine if it is sunny. So it should be something similar to where this tree actually grows naturally in Southwest Asia, in Iran. So we will see how it is doing. At the moment I'm just delighted. Let me smell one of these flowers just to see. The smell of them is not anything close to smell of an apple. It's almost kind of plasticky, or I don't know how to describe it. Like a dark and damp place. It's not pleasant. The smell of it is not pleasant. The fragrance of the flower is not pleasant, but the beauty is there. It should not be probably all the time pleasant for us. It's for the pollination, attracting the pollinating insects. So that's the trick they do. Look at this beauty. Taking just photos. Beautiful. The roses are not yet flowering, so that's a beautiful flower that we can enjoy. So the Quince variety Isfahan from the Keeper's Nursery in Kent. I'm happy that I bought this tree, and I pruned it actually. It was very high, very lanky branch going, bending over my bird net because I could not really make it any taller. Now at least we will have some growth here, some good news, something to look at. And looking forward to see if we can have some real fruits out of here. Quince. I cannot believe what I see. This Iranian medlar, Iranian quince called Isfahan. I bought it from the Keeper's Nursery, the brilliant nursery that was introduced in the BBC's British Garden Revival, the excellent nursery. After just a few weeks of having the blossoms, I see some fruit here, fruitlets. That's a quince. The first quince fruitlets for me in the Allotment orchard. And you see more is forming here. That is the best news of today. I'm taking photographs of them, but this tree practically is full of blossoms. And it's such a small tree. It's the second year I planted it. And yet, God willing, is going to give some crop. That's the reward gradually coming in the garden. All the effort I made over the past 14 or 16 months coming to fruition. The leaves are impressively large. I like that. Pear variety Mitchell's prolific. I have one pear like Quince Mitchell's prolific. I have one like this, and I can say that in the first year it didn't give me anything, so I'm looking forward for the next year. You can sample one, just to say that I've seen it. That's the pear. That's cracked a bit. Lack of rain probably for a while. Irregular watering. Anyway, yeah, this is normal. This is the normal thing that they have. This kind of velvety stuff. This is a quince tree in the Rickmansworth Rose Garden Community Orchard. And yeah, it is in fruit. This, I think, is one of those Yugoslavian varieties, Serbian. It looks like a pear. The Iranian version of the quince look more like an apple. It's very aromatic and softer, more palatable than the European versions. I have a variety of that bought from the Keeper's Nursery called Shams quince. And now here in this tree we see that how it is. I'm really delighted that we have this community orchard. What a good idea. Beautiful fruit. It is now today 31st of August. It's yet small. I think 2 months it can go even to November and December to be harvested then. But it's beautiful, isn't it? Sibosa or Sibosa or Zibosa. Season October, November. The shape of the quince is like this, but unfortunately they're near the end of their life. They're rotting. I don't see any good specimen of it. Only one on the tree which has had a cut. But it looks early enough that people have tasted it. This is a ekmek quince. It's quite small. It's from Turkey. You can have a large fruit, but as you see, it has been cut for sampling. I think this is a smaller one. Okay, compare this with this. It's quite a little bit like Golden Delicious, but with a pear-shaped top. Okay, quince. Quince is a fruit which is kind of similar to apple in a way, but the fruit is quite larger. In the UK, when we get them, they are like this yellow, but they are actually, if it was grown on the tree and you harvested it from your own tree, they are covered in a kind of velvety upper skin, and they come off by rubbing by your hand. I suppose that is not considered as something market appealing. It looks as a blemish as if it is, but that actually shows that it is fresh if you have that cover on it. The kind of beige color it is, a velvety beige color covering. So when you rub it off with your hand, you see this yellow beautiful color. Quince is a very ancient fruit. In the region that my ancestors are from, it was called the best. Beh means the best. That was considered the best. The fruit of it was used in food. You could eat it because it's a culinary thing. You can eat it also as a dessert. You can eat it, and you could make best beautiful jam out of this. A jam which has a kind of red color like this, the color of this Sony headphone that I have here. Beautiful, very good jam. Very It will not get mushy like apple or anything. Really good. It keeps its structure very well. The smell of it is lovely. The best part of this is the smell of it. If of course, it depends which kind of which variety you're growing. Most of the European varieties are kind of very hard, like granite, and they have really difficult. You will have difficult time just trying to bite it. But the ones that we receive here from the Near East and Middle East and Southwest Asia, they're really good. I've bought myself one variety of the tree from the keeper's nursery called Shams or Isfahan. I think that's the one I bought was Isfahan. Isfahan is a region in Southwest Asia, is a town in Southwest Asia. And I bought it from keeper's nursery in the UK in Kent. And I'm waiting for that yet to fruit, but this is the one I bought from the shop. There is an ethnic shop somewhere, everywhere. I suppose everywhere in the UK you can find the ethnic shop. They sell these things there. And they're very, very good to try them. At least go once and just try. Just if you didn't like it, okay, that's your option. But trying it at least. And this one was on my fruit bowl for a while. I ate the previous ones. We made a video about it when we were doing, cooking our Christmas lunch. We used it with our chicken. What made it really the most beautiful chicken I've ever eaten was that chicken in the Christmas lunch. Because we used, of course, many ingredients, including this beautiful quince. And now I'm going to cut it and just show you how it tastes. Okay, now what you see here is the quince that I have cut. And the inside of it you see is a big cavity for the seeds of it. The seeds were cold in the past, are good for softening the throat. You just boil them or you put them in a little bit boiled water and just drink it. And as you see, it looks a little bit something between apple and pear, but harder, more firmer than the apple. The smell of it, oh, it's beautiful. It's so aromatic, so beautiful. Depends on how fresh it is, of course. If you got a fresh from the tree, that will be the divine thing that you may, the best smell you may ever expect from in a kind of appley fruit. And of course, these seeds, as I told you, they will be used in ancient medicine. They use them for that purpose. And now I go for a little taste of it. Okay, kind of hard, dryish, but sweet. And it's pleasant when you chew it. That the saliva mixed with the food is actually quite edible, palatable. You can cook it also if you want. If you are not exposed to exotic fruits in the past or don't like to learn about new fruits, there are many ways to use it. You can stew it using a stew. You can cook it with as a jam, in a jam. It has pectin. You don't need pectin with this. Just cut it, dice it into pieces. And, 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter, whatever size you like. You don't chop it usually, but that practically makes it mash. You don't want mash. You want just to have the consistency and the smell of this preserved. You add sugar and just boil it as usual, like any other jam that you make. Or can we call it preserve? It's not jam in a way. Yeah, because it has a real fruit in it. And yeah, you can stew it, put it in any stew, like anything that you put in a stew. You put potato, you add a little bit of this. If you add plum into your stew, you can add this one also. It cooks very nicely. It keeps its consistency. It will not go mushy. And you will recognize it when you're eating. I must say, enjoying it is a kind of acquired taste, acquired habit. I've grown up with this, so I like it. I can enjoy it as it is. Of course, you don't eat the whole fruit. Of course, you can eat if it is really good and fresh from your own tree. But if you don't want, just eat half of it. Keep the rest for the cooking. The smell of it is really good. And look, it's now winter and there is not much fresh fruit from the trees. That reminds you of the spring or summer. The beauty of it, the smell of it, lovely. Try Quince. For me, that's the best. It's better than the cooking apple. Definitely better than cooking apple. Usually for the Christmas lunch, we use apples, Granny Smith and other things. But this year, I want to use some quince. We had 3 quinces this year from our tree in the allotment. So, and it smells so beautiful, so aromatic. This perfume. It's like as if you are smelling a drink. So rich, like cider. Oh yeah, the smell of it. Beautiful. The best cider you can imagine. Or perry, actually, perry cider or pear cider. Is the correct name for it is perry. It's really lovely. We have 3, so we just use 1 or 2 of this. And here. Okay. That will be our Christmas lunch. Everything here except the tangerine is ours. We have grown it ourselves. We are getting self-sufficient almost. We are there. Our allotment is practically a small holding. Now we have cut the quince and Susan is putting it under the skin of the bird. Chicken. That's beautiful. Never thought about that.
Really. No, what I'm doing, I'm putting these here.
Our Christmas lunch. Piping hot. Most of it is from our allotment, our own produce. Thanks God for these blessings. Okay, this is a video about a book. I've seen a lot of books and I have as many of them. But now gardening books and allotment books are not my interest anymore, just because they are too general. And I'm more interested in the specific subjects, the books about one fruit or one variety of vegetable and just explaining about it. So this is the book of Quinces, Growing and Cooking by Jane McMorland Hunter and Sue Dunster. It's published by the English Kitchen, in the English Kitchen series by the, let me just tell you which company, which publisher has published it. Prospect Books. Date of publication is 2014. The book is, in the UK, sold for £9.99. And I found it in the Waterstone in the Charing Cross Road. It's a very interesting book in London. And it's a small, relatively small, but it's only just in 128 pages. It's a small, it's a pocket size as they call it, so it's good for, even for Christmas, stocking filler as a gift to give someone. The book has 128 pages, I told, and the chapters, the table of the contents is as follows. Introduction, the story of the quince, quinces in the garden, quinces in the kitchen, baked quinces, poached quinces, preserved savory dishes, sweet dishes, afternoon tea, drinks and liquors, confectionery, the books that made quinces popular, the lost world of the quince, health and beauty, appendix, orchards to visit, acknowledgement, bibliography, index of recipes. And the pages are a little bit yellowish color. I think that's the design of it. It's not just because it's old or it's just the design of the book, because that's actually somehow resembles the color of the color of the quince, which the book claims was known to the ancients as a golden apple. I know as a fact that this variety of the fruit is actually from Southwest Asia, and especially from the plateau of Iran, where it is grown for many centuries. It is called beh. Beh means the best. In Persian, beh is the name of the quince, and is called beh because in that language it means the best. And that is the best. But the author prefers to, as usual, because it's written by Europeans, goes to trace it back just in the history of the Greeks, as usual, and they call it as golden apples. And the golden apple is, according to them, is the quince. We don't have any historical proof for that, but this is what the author has came up with. The book has a lot of chapters and the history of it, poems and pieces and classical pieces of the information from the old books about the quince, and from 19th century, 18th century. And a good number of recipes also, how to care, of course, growing it in containers. You can grow it in containers. That's interesting. Of course, you have to water it. Anything above the ground will lose the water due to the gravity. So water goes out from the bottom. So you have to add it. But the good thing about the quince. Okay, this book is very up to date. Why? I checked it actually. There are varieties of the quince that actually are new to this country, and the book has mentioned them. And these are the varieties from the keeper's nursery. Isfahan, for example, Iranian quince, as I told, that this is the origin of many of the common fruits in that area, Southwest Asia. And again, Shams. Shams means sun. Again, that is from Persia, Iran. And these are the varieties which are new to the Britain, and they have been introduced by the keeper's nursery. And I have a few of them in my own allotment, so I can tell that this is a new book in that sense. The information is up to date. So after that, you come to the point that you have to know what to do with the quince. Quince, I remember, okay, this is what this book says. What I remember by my mom is that we use it for making jam a lot. The seeds of it even are edible. You can just boil them like tea and just put it in the tea or anything. That's very good for softening the throat for anybody who has a problem with the throat. If you're a singer, that may help you even. All kind of medicinal values for the quince and itself. The Iranian quinces that I know and I have eaten, they are edible as it is, as raw. But the European quinces I've heard, I've not tested it. I've not grown them to know exactly. The ones that we have here in the UK are imported usually. But the ones that grow here, they say they're hard as granite, very hard, rock-like. But you can make a good jam out of them. And my mom you'd make the best jams you can have for any kind of fruit is a quince jam, or as you call it, preserve. And of course, there are other things you can use them: ginger, poached quinces, and other things. You can use them even because there are the hard varieties. The hard varieties which are from the UK. You can use them instead of apple in cooking. They are better than apple because they keep their shape better and they taste really good. Like the normal way that you use potato, you can use quince in conjunction with potato in all kind of stews and soups and everything. And you can liquidize them if you don't like chunky bits, but most people probably like also chunky bits. And it is a book that I can recommend. It has a good balance of everything: recipe, history, classical works, and varieties. As I told, varieties are really up to date. They're very good. Permanent record of the latest varieties that we have in the UK available to average gardener through the Keeper's Nursery, many of them. And the book has, as I told, 128 pages. It's quite small. You can order it from online bookstores or from the publisher, actually, if you want. The ISBN is this: 978-1909-248410. And I bought it from the Waterstone in Charing Cross Road for $9.99. In the US, probably it's about $15. And if you cannot find, if you want it for Christmas as a stocking filler, I think that you can get it if you're going for it. If you don't have much time, just ask your local bookshop to bring it for your local Waterstone or any other bookshop to bring it for you, so you will have it on time. Hopefully, they have that network of connection that they receive these things probably quite quicker than us. And that's it. This is a good sized book, beautiful, good for Christmas. Stocking filler. Book of quinces, growing and cooking. We're getting spoiled for choice. We have at least one book about quinces now. The next thing is that if I see there is any book about plums, that's what I like to see.